this, folks, here it bloody is. The brand new squeaky clean EFL Championship season is just around the corner. And, of course, I'm going to predict each and every one of the games, starting right here with match number 1. Who's going to get off to an absolute flyer? Who's going to get up to absolute stinker? We'll take a little look at it. All of it next. That's right, folks, back once again with a prediction video. Today we've returned for the start of the brand new 2022-2023 EFL Championship season, of course, and we'll get to that in, of course, just one second. If you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe and bang up today. All things Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We're going to here, boys. Under one roof's kiss, felt like an eternity, of course, since Rovers last kicked a ball, but they are going to kick a ball this coming weekend up against QPR. A lot has changed since, of course, we were last with you. With, of course, the in respect to the EFL, the Championship, new names, and, of course, manager-wise, new clubs-wise, of course, and some new names in the old transfers, of course. We'll take a look at all of it, of course, in a minute. Of course, big shout out to VIPs. They are the patrons, guys. But anyway, you don't want to know about that. Let's get into the deep end. Of course, take a little look at what I'm talking about. Here we are, boys and girls. Here we are, of course, the start of a brand new squeaky clean season with, of course, the EFL Championship. But what we want to do first and foremost, let's take a little look at how it all panned out last campaign then, shall we? Of course, Fulham topped the charts there with 90 points on the board. 88 points for Bournemouth, who, of course, were promoted to the Premier League alongside there. Meanwhile, of course, it was Huddersfield, Forest, Sheffield United and Luton Town that made the playoffs with, of course, Forest coming out on top in the bloody end. Down the foot of the table, we did say goodbye to Peterborough, Derby County and, of course, Barnsley, with the rest of us staying where we were, of course, to look forward to another season. That's, of course, the state of play for that. But, of course, what about the state of play for our own little league, our prediction league, of course, to take a look at the winners, yes. Oh, right, you thought I forgot about you, didn't you? You thought I forgot about you. But no, it's been a long old summer for me. A bit of a transitional period for me, just like Blackburn Rovers, just like some of the other clubs with new managers. I, of course, started a new job myself. So things have been a little bit rusty, but we're trying to get back in the deep end. These were the final results, of course, from the playoffs. Of course, all these guys picked up a point, which, of course, could be the difference between winning and losing at the end of it. So let's take a look. And, of course, the real bloody deal then, shall we? This is, of course, the mini league. Nothing, of course, on the line here. Just a bit of pride. And Sheffield United ran away with it with, of course, 140 points. First 77, of course, came in second. And, of course, Hans Wurst in bronze. That's, of course, your January all the way through to the bitter end. But what about the main bloody deal? Well, here is the main bloody deal. It was a one-man show in the end, wasn't it? Shane O'Donnell, 257 points. So, of course, you are a winner. You are a victor. And you are a champion, of course. So well done to you. You are the champion. You can wear a crown on your head for a little bit. Anyway, Hansworth came in second, finished 77, of course, in third, and then the chasing pack. So well done to you. You will get some money. Of course, I think you won as well elsewhere. I've lost track already, but there's going to be loads more winners. Of course, we go across the divisions. Premier League, of course, around the corner. Vanarama National League, of course, next week. Some of the other European leagues kicking off, Germany, all that kind of stuff. So if you did take part, stick around. Make sure you subscribe, get some popcorn, join the show here. It's all about fun and games, interactivity, engagement, of course, with you guys. So let's get into it and take a little look at who won alongside Shane O'Donnell right here with the predictor of the month. Let's take a little look at the victors. These are the victors, of course, deep at the great with, of course, multiple winners in there. And, of course, the chasing bloody pack. Yes, indeed. Yeah, well, this is, of course, them. So all these names are going to get put into a hat, a little spinner, and one of them will come out on top and join Shane O'Donnell as victors. And what you'll get some love coupons from me, but, of course, a $10 gift card or something along those lines coming out to you in the mail or email or something like that. We'll figure it all out. Anyway, but let's take a look at what I'm talking about. Well, this is what I'm talking about. That's right. We have a Wheel of Destiny, of course, with all the names of the predictors of the months for the past season. Of course, if you're in there more than once, guess what? You've increased your chances. We're going to spin that. Whatever it lands on, it is fair game. No edits, no cheating, no shenanigans. Of course, here it comes in all its glory. So spin that wheel, baby. Spin that bloody wheel. And the winner, taking away a gift card, is Karimi Jordan 50. There it is. I haven't done anything about that. So well done to you, sir. Well done to you, sir. Those are the victors, of course, for this past season's championship season. But, of course, this season we're doing something a little bit different. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Super Brew, boys and girls. Super Bloody Brew. It's an absolutely fantastic app which does a lot of the hard work for me behind the bloody scenes. Of course, it does calculate winners, losers, all that kind of stuff. And, of course, you get points for scoring correct score lines. It's a fantastic thing. It is free to enter. And, of course, in order to enter this year's Super League, Prediction League, whatever you want to call it, you've got to register. Of course, free to enter. I'm not trying to hoodwink get into some sort of shenanigans. It's just a way for us all to participate in one league. The link is, of course, will be on the screen shortly. It will be in the description. And, of course, right here, you're seeing me put my predictions in. But it's that easy, and it is super duper fun. We have trialed it with the Euro 2022 ladies. It's been absolutely fantastic. So make sure you come on in and join the bloody show. There it is on the screen as well. Cutley/EFL Champ, and there's a QR code if you're a little bit lazy like me. But anyway, what are we going to do now? We are going to take a little look at, of course, the next round of matches. Well, in fact, the 24 teams. Here we go then. Here are the 24 teams that make up the division this campaign. We have Birmingham, they're back, new owners. Rovers with a new manager. Of course, Blackpool are there as well with a new manager. Bristol City's still got the same governor. Of course, Burnley are back. The six-figure freakazoids. Cardiff City there. Coventry's still got the same gaffer. Carlos Coban is no longer there. Huddersfield, absolute shocker. Hull City are there. Of course, new owners at the end of the year last season. Of course, they still have a shot at Avaladze. Luton, of course, the dark horses last time around. Middlesbrough look like they're going to have a bit of money to spend. Millwall, of course, are in the mix. Norwich City return for the Premier League. Preston North End have been busy. And, of course, trying to improve the squad depth there. QPR also a new manager, Michael Beale. Not Ian Beale. Of course, Michael Beale is at the helm there. Reading, of course, Paul Ince. What on earth is that going to be made out of? Oh, my days. Rotherham United, Sheffield United, of course, spending all their money, stealing all of Blackburn Rovers. They've stolen our shortlist. Stoke City, of course, in the mix. Sunderland, a returned powerhouse indeed. Swansea, of course, a lot of expectations on them this season. Watford are back as well, with, of course, a bit of a youngster, rookie manager, perhaps. Rob Edwards at the helm. The Baggies with Steve Bruce and Wigan Athletic are back in the Championship. Let's take a look at the games then, shall we? Of course, here are the games. Of course, the games are coming at you from Friday all the way through to Monday, an extended weekend, of course, out in the Champions. All eyes will be on it. I'll be excited. And, of course, we'll have extended coverage of the Blackburn Rovers game against QPR. We'll have a watch-along. We'll have fan cams. We'll have, what else? Well, we may have a vlog. I've not confirmation of the vlog yet, but we may have a vlog. A lot of build-up to it as well. Away fans, of course, my own opinion. We got lots and lots. So if you're a QPR fan, if you're a Rovers fan, you don't know what we're talking about, just make sure you smash your subscribe, smash the little bell, and come along and join the ride. We've got them covered from here to eternity, all the way through to the end of the season. But anyway, we're jumping the deep end with, of course, the first one. Kicking it all off on Friday. It is Huddersfield Town up against them freaks, the six-figure freakazoids. Barely. That's right, of course, coming at you at John Smith's stadium. Of course, Danny Schofield has taken over the reins at Huddersfield Town. Of course, Burnley with Vincent Kompany now. No Deshaun Dyche. It is, of course, a Manchester City Part 2. Of course, Huddersfield coming at you, winning. Actually played each other, these two sides, 13 times since the year 2004 wins Huddersfield, 6 wins for Burnley, and 3 draws. Of course, Huddersfield are just one defeat at the past 4 games. That's including friendlies, all that kind of stuff. But Burnley just 1 win and 5 though, with the new regime, of course. But their biggest win over Huddersfield was a 3-1. The biggest win the other way was a 2-0 win. 2-0 win, of course. And the goals scored by Huddersfield over Burnley, 13 compared to Burnley's 15, works out around about 1.15 goals game ratio for the freaks and a 1 goal game ratio for the hosts. Meanwhile, last other place over at the John Smith's Kirklees Stadium was a 2-1 win for Burnley. It was in the Premier League. It was back in January 2019. Of course, in fact, the home side hasn't won this game for a long, long time. In fact, the last time the home side won was when Burnley were hosts and they beat Huddersfield in the Championship back in 2015. Burnley did pick up a win against Shrewsbury, of course, in the most recent friendly. I believe there might be more than that. I don't know. Meanwhile, Huddersfield coming just on the back of the draw against Bolton. The odds for this one then, shall we? We have 70-10 is your Huddersfield. We've got 23-10 is your, and 31-20 is your Burnley. It's quite tight, airtight. And of course, we do expect some shenanigans on the first game of the season. A lot of the form that goes there, a lot of what you would expect at the end of the season to go out the window, and I do anticipate that to go wrong with this one as well. I think Burnley will lose this one. I'm not going to predict them to lose every single game, but I think they'll lose this one. Danny Schofield's coming in here. Not an expectation, but all eyes will be on this on Friday night, and I might even do a watch long for this game if I can wiggle out of it at work. We'll see. So 2-1 it is for Huddersfield. Burnley off to a shitter. Meanwhile, Rovers are in action, of course, on Saturday, and we will be there in one way or another. Of course, I'll be there watching the game live from the comfort of my seat right here in central Pennsylvania, but hopefully we'll have some representation at Ewood Park. 29 times they played these two sides, of course. Rovers against QPR. Rovers managed by John Dahl Thomason. Of course, Ian Beale's brother, Michael, taking over the reins at QPR. 16 wins for Rovers over the course of those 29 matches. We got 5 wins for QPR and 8 draws. Rovers, though, just 1 defeat over the last 6. Of course, that was in friendly. That was against Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Exactly. QPR, they're picking up just 1 defeat past 5 and then 58% form also heading into this game. When playing at home, though, Rovers have not lost to QPR the last 11 encounters, of course, including they picked up a cheeky 1-0 win against QPR last time around. In fact, the away side hasn't won this game in a long, long time, just like the previous game. In fact, the last time the away side won was when Rovers picked up a 2-1 win at Loftus Road against QPR back on April 2019. Heading into this, though, QPR did lose to Crystal Palace 3-0. Of course, Rovers with a 1-0 win over Lincoln City. Back-to-back clean sheets, of course. So not too shabby for Rovers heading into this. The odds, though, 21-20 is your Rovers. They are favoured to win this game. 5-2 is your, and 12-5 is your QPR. We have looked good. Not clinical, but good enough. I don't think we'll lose this game, but I have actually gone bold and gone with a 2-0 win for Rovers to take it to the house. Next up, of course, we have a Blackpool, that's right, going and coming at you at Bloomfield Road up against Paul Ince's Reading. Of course, Appleton and it's both ex-managers are over, so I'll keep an eye on this one as the game comes around. Of course, Blackpool, though, have played Reading 14 times since 2008. 5 wins for Blackpool, 6 wins for Reading, and we've got 3 draws as well. Meanwhile, Blackpool coming to this, just 1 win and 4 for them, 33% form, up against the Reading side, just 1 win in 6 games for them, 25% form as well. Reading's biggest win over Blackpool, there was a 5-1 win. The biggest win the other way was a 4-1 win for Blackpool over Reading. Of course, Reading have scored 24 goals compared to Blackpool's 19 over the course of those 14 games. A 1.36 goals a game ratio for Blackpool, a 1.71 goals a game ratio for Reading. But Blackpool have a losing streak of 3 games at home. But last time they played each other over at Bloomfield Road was way back. It's actually not that long ago. It was back last year. 26th of February 2022 is a 4-1 win for Blackpool. Blackpool actually did the double over Reading last season. Of course, Reading coming to this on the back of a 2-1 win, a 2-1 defeat, over Brighton. Of course, Blackpool with a 4-2 loss over Everton. The odds for this bad boy coming at Bloomfield Road is 2019 on. Reading a red hot favourite. Scores 13-5 is draw, 13-5 is your win. I don't know about this. I am going to give Appleton the benefit of the doubt here with a 1-1 draw. But these two sides for me are in trouble this season. I don't believe in. I don't know what went on. What went on with Critchley's decision to leave Blackpool? But regardless, they're in trouble, as are Reading. Meanwhile, moving forward, it's Cardiff. Of course, we brought in about 25 players, maybe even 65 players. I've lost count. But anyway, they're going to kick off their season up against Norwich City at the Cardiff City Stadium. Of course, 23 times they played each other since 2003. 7 wins for Cardiff, 30 wins for Norwich, and we've got 3 draws as well. Cardiff, though, coming into this unbeaten over the last 6 games, picking up 4 wins of the last 5. 83% form for them. Meanwhile, Norwich, of course, back-to-back defeats for them. 67% form under Dean Smudger Smith. Of course, the biggest win for Cardiff over Norwich was a 2-0 win. The biggest win the other way, a 4-1 win. In fact, Norwich scores 37 goals compared to Cardiff's 28 over the course of those 23 matches. Works out about 1.22 goals a game for Cardiff. Norwich, though, at 1.61 goals a game. Heading into this, though, what do we got going on? We have Norwich did beat Cardiff last time around in Wales, back in, of course, January 2021. It was a 2-1 win for Norwich way back when. Cardiff, though, pick up a 4-2 win over Swindon in pre-season. That was the last match. Norwich scores back-to-back defeats up in Scotland, losing to Celtic and Hibs without scoring a goal. So what's going to happen this weekend? We'll look at that in a second. Of course, the odds coming at you for this one. We have Cardiff 90-10 for the victory, 30-10 is your Norwich, and 12-5 is your draw. I'm back in away win here, Norwich. Of course, Cardiff got so many new faces, and I don't really believe in the manager right now. I think they're going to have a struggle despite bringing in a whole plethora of new faces. Kicking off all the way up Millwall up against Stoke City. That's right, coming at you at the Den. That's right, Millwall managed by Gary Rowett. Michael O'Neill still there. Stoke have actually been picking up a couple of faces over the past couple of days, and they've strengthened their talent a little bit. Kicking off forward, I think Small Bones coming in from Southampton, a nice little player in midfield. Anyway, Millwall, though, coming at you, though, 67% form for them. Just 1 defeat past 6 up against the Stoke side. Just won once in the past 6, 25% form. Of course, they play each other, though, these two sides 23 times since 1993. 7 wins for Millwall, 10 wins for Stoke, and we've got 6 draws, of course. Millwall, though, with the biggest win over Stoke, a 2-0 win. The biggest win the other way, also a 2-0 win. Of course, over the course of the 23 games, Stoke has scored 24 goals compared to Millwall's 22. Works out around about 1.04 goal a game ratio compared to Millwall's 0.96. Last time they played at the Den, it was a 2-1 win for Millwall. In fact, they're unbeaten against Stoke at the Den over the last 3 occasions, pick up 2 wins and a draw to boot. Of course, Millwall did draw with Ipswich Ipswich, and of course Stoke did lose to Hearts up in Edinburgh, of course. Let's take a look at the odds for this one then, shall we? Have Millwall 65 for the victory. We've got 210 is your away win, and we've got 5-2 is your draw. Of course, funnily enough, I see Stoke in the bookies for the first time in forever. But anyway, we have got a 2-0 win for Millwall here. Of course, I fancy them to get the double. I fancy them to be a pain in the ass for a lot of teams this season. Hull City up against Bristol City. I do anticipate this one to be a bit of a struggle. Both these sides to struggle this time around. 22 times they played each other since 2004. 6 wins for Hull, 8 wins for Bristol City, and 8 draws, of course. Hull, though, coming into this winning 3 and losing 3 of the last 6. That's 50% form. Bristol City, though, coming into this pretty good form over pre-season. Picking up 5 wins and a defeat, 83% form for them. Of course, their biggest win over Hull City was a 5-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 4-0 win. A lot of goals in these games. 35 goals scored by Bristol City over Hull, who scored 31 goals returned, and it works out around about 1.41 goals game ratio compared to 1.59 goals game ratio for Bristol City. Last time I picture at the KCOM, it was a 2-2 draw. That was back in December 2021. In fact, Hull City haven't picked up a win against Bristol City over the last 6. They've drawn a few, but Bristol City unbeaten against Hull over the last 6. Meanwhile, kicking off, Hull did lose to Peterborough in the last game of pre-season. Meanwhile, Bournemouth lost to Bristol City. It's a big result for them on the 23rd of July. Take a look at the odds on this one then, shall we? Of course, coming at the KCOM, or whatever they want to call it these days. We do have the odds for Hull City. 65 for the victory, 11-5 is your away win, and 12-5 is your draw. I'm back in, of course, the Hull City win here, even though I do think both of them will be most likely into the teens at the end of the campaign. Luton Town up against Birmingham City, who of course could have had Bassini as owner, but in the end I think it worked out for the greater good. Of course, Luton Town, Birmingham, of course, Kenilworth Road, played each other 12 times since 1993, 2 wins to Luton, 5 wins to Birmingham, 5 draws. Of course, just one defeat in the past 6 games for Luton Town up against Birmingham, of course, who've just one win in 6, 33% form for them heading into this. However, Birmingham's biggest win over Luton, a 5-0 win. The biggest win the other way, a 1-0 win. In fact, Luton have just scored 11 goals compared to Birmingham's 23 over the course of those 12 games. It works out around about 1.92 goals game ratio for Birmingham compared to the 0.92 for Luton Town. Last time the pressure over at Kenilworth Road, it was a big 5-0 win for Luton. In fact, a 5-0 win for Birmingham. And in fact, Birmingham did the double over Luton, scoring 8 goals without return. So they fancy the chances of taking on Luton one more time. However, Birmingham did lose to Cheltenham last round in, of course, a friendly. Meanwhile, Luton picked up a monstrous 1-1 draw against West Ham, also in the friendly department. 11-10 on is your, of course, your Luton Red Hot favourites. 5-2 is draw, and 14-5 is your away win here. Back in, of course, a 3-1 for Luton Town on this. A comfortable win, and of course, setting the benchmark nice and early for the rest of the season. Rotherham will take on Swansea City, of course, coming at you at the New York Stadium, coming at you on the 30th of July. Played each other 9 times. These two sides, 2 wins for Rotherham, 5 for Swansea, and 2 draws. Of course, Rotherham, though, unbeaten in the last 6, picking up 4 wins and 2 draws up against the Swansea side, who've just won once in the past 6 for them, 42% form, of course. However, Swansea's biggest win over Rotherham, a 3-1 win. The biggest win the other way was a 2-0 win. And in fact, Swansea have scored 15 goals compared to Rotherham's 12 over the course of those 9 games. Works out around about 1.67 goals game ratio compared to Rotherham's 1.33. Last time I played over in, of course, Rotherham, it was a 3-1 win for Swansea. That's back in January 2021, a couple of seasons back. In fact, Swansea 3 games unbeaten, 3-game winning run against Rotherham, and I look forward to making it a 4th. Swansea there with a big 2-1 win over Charlton last round. Rotherham a big 2-1 win for Crew, of course, on the bloody road. The odds for this one then, shall we? Rotherham 97 for the victory, 5-2 is your 13-10 is your away win. I'm back in, of course, a draw here right down the middle. I cannot separate the 2 sides. What about you? Let me know down below, but of course, don't forget your Super Brew, boys. Don't forget your Super Brew. Kicking off, although, is Wigan Athletic up against Preston North End. Zinger, chicken dinner at the DW Stadium. We don't wait. It's not very common to have a derby like this kicking us off at the start of the season. They played each other 14 times in 2003, 7 wins for Wigan, 4 wins for Preston, and 3 draws, of course. Wigan, though, 75% form for them, just 1 defeat past 6 for them in all competitions. Meanwhile, Preston picked up 4 wins at the last 6, 67% form for them as well. Biggest win for Preston over Wigan, 4-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 5-0 win, and Wigan have actually scored 26 goals compared to Preston's 19 over the course of those 14 games. Works out around about 1.86 goals a game compared to the 1.36 goals a game for Preston North End. Coming at you, though, last time they played each other in competitive action over at the DW was a 2-1 win for Preston way back in February 2020. Preston have actually got back-to-back wins over Wigan. Actually 3 wins in the last 4, and have only conceded a couple of games. Meanwhile, kicking off all Wigan with a big 4-1 win over Sheffield Wednesday. Of course, in pre-season, Preston, of course, did lose to Leicester City of the Premier League. The odds for this one, 7-5 is your host, 23-10 is your, and 9-5 is your away win here. Tight, airtight. Going to go with a 2-0 win, though, for Wigan. Of course, they're back in the Championship, and of course, back and taking names as well. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough will take on West Bromwich Albion. Bit of a zinger chicken dinner on this one. It's the Tony Mowbray derby. That's right. Played each other 26 times in 1993. 13 wins for Borough, 7 wins for West Brom, and 6 draws, of course. Middlesbrough, though, winning 4 of the last 6. 67% form for them. Up against West Brom, just 1 defeat of the past 6, 75% form for them heading into this. Of course, West Brom's biggest win over Borough, 5-0 win. The biggest win the other way, 4-0 win. In fact, Borough, though, scored 42 goals compared to West Brom's 33 over the course of those 26 games. Works out around about 1.62 goals a game and 1.27 goals a game for West Brom. The last time they played each other over at the Riverside was a 2-1 win for Middlesbrough. That was back in February 2022. And in fact, Middlesbrough unbeaten against West Brom over the course of the last 3 matches, pick up 2 wins and a draw. Borough, though, picked up a cheeky 2-0 win over Marseille not too long ago. West Brom with a big 2-1 win over Hertha Berlin as well. Some monstrous results there in the grand scheme of things. The odds here, though, 23-10 is your Borough. We got 5-2 is your, and 21-10 is your West Bromwich Albion. Back in, of course, the 3-1 win for Borough here. Getting off to a flyer, and Steve Bruce already feeling the pain. Into, of course, the Sunday's action. This is the return of Sunderland up against Coventry City. It wasn't too long ago. This match was in League One, but it's at the Stadium of Light, and we do expect a major full house. Of course, Sunderland managed by Alex Neil. Coventry, of course, with Mark Robbins at the helm. 16 times they played each other since 1996. 4 wins for the Mackham, 6 wins for Coventry, and 6 draws as well. Just 1 win, though, in 6 for Sunderland right now. Meanwhile, Coventry just 1 defeat in the last 6, 75% form for them as well. The biggest win over each other, a 2-0 win. Of course, Sunderland picking up 18 goals compared to Coventry's 20 over the course of those 16 games. Works out around about 1.25 goals a game for Coventry compared to the 1.13 goals a game for Sunderland. Coming at you, though, last time around at the Stadium of Light, it was a 1-1 draw back in November 2019, of course. And Coventry unbeaten against Sunderland over the course of the last 4 matches, all the way back to 2007, in fact, when Sunderland's last victory over Coventry, and there was the Stadium of Light back in the Championship as well. Meanwhile, Sunderland with a 1-1 draw against Hartlepool. Coventry with a big 2-0 win over Pompey, actually coming to us on back-to-back clean sheets as well. We're looking at the odds for this one then, shall we? Coventry 8-5 for the, Sunderland 8-5 for the victory, 5-2 is your, and 13-8 is your Coventry. I'm backing, of course, Sunderland to win this one with the packed house, and of course they'll be happy about that as well. And then wrapping up another zinger. Of course, on Monday, August the 1st, it is, of course, Watford up against Sheffield United coming at you at Vicarage Road. Rob Edwards makes his debut up against Paul Heckingbottom, who of course has been spending a bit of money recently. Of course, played each other 31 times since 1994, 12 wins for Watford, 10 wins for Sheffield United, and 9 draws. Just 1 win in 6 though for Watford right now, 33% form up against the Sheffield United side, who pick up 3 wins in that last 5 games, 58% form as well. Over the course of the 31 games, a 3-0 win was the biggest win for Watford, and a bit 3-0 win was the biggest win for Sheffield United as well. And in fact, Watford have scored 39 goals compared to Sheffield United's 35 over the course of those 31 games. A 1.26 goals game ratio for Watford compared to the 1.13. And as we look forward to this game, the last time played at Vicarage Road was a big 0-0 draw. It's actually been back-to-back draws between these two sides, and both those games were in the Premier League. Sheffield United did lose to Barnsley, though, most recently 2-1 loss there, and of course Watford with a big 4-1 win over another W, and that is Wycombe Wanderers. 6-5 on is your 65 is your Watford, 23-10 is your, and 23-10 is your bloody Sheffield United. I'm back in, of course, a monstrous 4-1 win, and yes, I'm setting the benchmark with that. It's not going to last, I don't think, for the whole season for Watford, but of course it's a statement result for them moving forward. And what will that do to the table, folks? What will it do? Well, it'll do this. It'll put Watford top of the pots with Luton Town second, Middlesbrough up to third, and Rovers sitting pretty in fourth. Stop the count. Stop the bloody count. Meanwhile, Millwall and Wigan, of course, will complete the top 6. Would you take that for the end of the season? Heck, I would. Heck, I would. Heck, I would. And of course, going down would have Sheffield United, Coventry, and Preston North End. That was pretty much rosy. That, my friends, is just about it. But don't forget, please do not forget the Super Brew action. The Super Brew, of course, you get points for not only getting the result right, you get points for getting the score close to the money, or if you get it bang on, you could do a clean sweep. There could be monstrous points on week in, week out. And even if you are late to the party, you don't start to match number 6, 7, or 8, you still have a good chance to win one of the rounds, or at least one of the months, of course. We'll all figure all that as we go. But that, my friends, is it. And I am looking forward to seeing you when we come back around. Of course, we'll be covering the games each and every one of them from right here, match number 1, all the way through to match number 46, and of course the playoffs, and of course the final. Make sure you smash your subscribe. Why aren't you smashing the subscribe? Do it right here, right now. I said do it, and make sure you smash your like. Can we get these likes up there past 20, maybe even up to 50? I don't. That's bold. It's bold for me, but I'd love it. I'd love it if you could get these up there, and of course get some eyes on the prize and make this Super Brew competition, the Prediction League, a fantastic competition for you and I to compete throughout the season. I'm going to get my picks are in there. My picks are locked in. I cannot change them. You've seen them now. But anyway, folks, that is it. I'll see you soon. See you soon for the next one. But until then, we're out.